What is up, guys? It's the Ep.2 here, and I have some more DayZ for you. Yes, I know it's been a while, but I was only able to somehow make my DayZ workable. I'm always tweaking with the settings, but I managed to make it half decent enough to record with decent frame rate, so it's not too bad. It's a little choppy, but it's viewable. I am on my own this time. I've headed up north from the Electro and Cherno. I went into Cherno for a bit. I got myself a gun. Got myself 2 guns, I think, actually, and I managed to head all the way up. I lost a bit of blood, hunted, got some more blood back, and so I'm in a relatively stable condition. I have everything I need, so I came to check the tents, see if I can find anything nice. So I'm just approaching the tents here, hoping for maybe a sniper rifle, something nice. I end up searching all the tents, but unfortunately I do not find anything as I would hoped I would. I also get bled by a zombie, so that made it all worthwhile. So I'm just going to have to run over and bandage and get away from zombies. I don't know if it always blocks them, but I find going behind the tents like this in these narrow areas does stop them. Also, if you're ever being chased by a zombie and you're on a server that does not let you hide in a pine tree, if you run through pine trees or bushes or things like that, or if you zigzag through buildings, you will lose zombies. The way they are built is that if they lose line of sight on you, they will stop chasing you. Now obviously this is obviously a bit funky because it's a mod, so you have to make sure you keep losing line of sight and then eventually they will stop following you. Because if you're running through like a load of trees and you run through a pine tree, they stop and then they see you again, then they'll just continue running after you. But that is the best way to get rid of zombies. So I'm just checking all the tents. Obviously I don't find much. I'm also low on bandages. I need to get some of those, and if you play Breaking Point, you will find you always want to be stocked up bandages because zombies can really easily bleed you. Just shot a zombie there because I've checked the server, there's not many people on it, and I know I'm not going to be shot because I would have been by now. So just let off my gun because everyone likes to let off their gun every now and then, just for the fun of it. I head out the tents and then I go out to check the supermarket, see if I can get some food or drink. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have spawned much. I already have some binoculars. And I've got everything else I need, matches, hatchet, all that, so I can hunt for. So I check all of that. Unfortunately there's nothing of interest, for me at least. So then I decide after that I'm going to head up to the northwest airfield, and I'm going to hopefully as the title suggests, find a helicopter. That is the objective of this episode, because I like to fly to another island, get some footage, maybe Naupsk or Naupsk or however people like to pronounce it. Utes, Chernos? No, not Chernos, that's where we are now. Origins, lots of different mods have been released, and it'd be quite cool to try them out. The only one I haven't played is Thirsk, I believe, which is a snowy map, which does sound pretty interesting, but it sounds like it's a massive map, and so I'd have to dedicate a lot of time to exploring it. So I'm out to the next town and I go cross country from there, take out a couple of zombies just because I can, and wait for the headshot, Look at that, that was beautiful. I found that when it comes to DayZ, you always want to have a gun with a sight over a gun that doesn't have a sight, because the iron sights can really hinder you more than any game I've played. And luckily in Arma 3, if you've played the alpha, you can actually get individual attachments, and I've also heard rumour that the beta's coming out soon, which will be good. And they've also, a site with zombies with 2 O's has managed to release a DayZ mod for the Arma 3 Alpha, so you can actually play DayZ on Chernos in Arma 3 Alpha right now. Obviously it's buggy and everything, but it does look pretty cool and it has ragdoll physics, so go check that out. But I'm just running towards the barracks. I always like to go around the barracks because that way if I can approach the door and look straight in, then I can see the enemies and take them out instantly. Whereas if I go around the side, they like to see me through the windows and they get the jump on me. And I always like to have the jump on someone. And in DayZ, it's always best to have the jump on someone, because at the end of the day, stealth is everything. And if they haven't seen you, then there's not much they can do to stop you from shooting them in the back. So I go in the barracks. I didn't really find too much. Unfortunately, nothing decent spawned. I do find an M16. But unfortunately, since I've got an M4, it doesn't really make much difference apart from ammo, because they use the same rounds. And I have discovered it's not true in every case, but in most cases a gun's power and damage it does can be gauged from what ammo it uses. For example, DMRs and M14s all use 7.62 rounds, which are pretty lethal, and M4s, M16s use Stanags, and those are like medium. 4 shots will kill someone. AK uses a slightly high. I don't know if an AK is a 7.62,
but it's somewhere in between M4s and DMRs, so it's like the mid-range, but unfortunately the downside is you don't get very many AKs with decent iron sights, and so it's hard to shoot them. So I head across the airfield. I be stealthy at first, because number one rule in DayZ: if you see them first, you win. If they see you first, you lose. Nothing of interest. Unfortunately, no helis had spawned. I go to check the northern barracks, just in case a gun or something had spawned there. Fortunately, I've got lots of zombies on my tail, but I've got plenty of ammo, so I don't have to worry. And since there's not many people on the server, like I said earlier, then I can just shoot them, and problem solved. So I check all the doors, nothing interesting. There are some antibiotics, which I've seen spawning in barracks and fire stations a lot more recently, and they used to be quite rare, so it's good to have those. Just take these zombies out, but unfortunately I don't find anything of use, vehicle or otherwise. And so I'm probably going to call it a day, and hopefully next time I come in this server or a different server, I will be able to hunt me down a heli. On my way, zombies. Jeez, oh my god. See, it's moments like these that make you really scared, because you think you're going to run out of ammo and then they're just going to maul you to death. Of course, there is one tip: you can just disconnect and reconnect, but that would be known as combat logging in a sense, so you don't want to do that.
So I come back in on a different server. This server has a bit of styling loot. You get a couple of tool belt items and an M9 and an assault pack, which is good because I like the assault pack because you can put a gun in it, and I would find that in any situation you could probably put a gun in a backpack, albeit maybe hang out or something, but it just adds to the sense of realism to have something that can at least store one gun. So I go into Cherno, don't find much interesting. M16, so it's good to have an assault rifle over a pistol. Well, the M9 is surprisingly good and I love it for taking out zombies. I run up towards the edge, towards the petrol station, because I want to find a vehicle to go and hunt for helis, and looky what's in the petrol station. Albeit probably not for repairs, considering it's probably going to be damaged when I get to it, but it's always good to have something. You can fix it up, and being in Cherno is your best bet because it has the most industrial loot that you can find, and engine parts, main rotor assemblies, tool kits, all of that is always in rich supply in Cherno around the industrial side of the city. So I was in pretty much luck. It had no wheel, so I decided, right, I'll go back and check for a wheel, and then I'll be able to get this baby moving. But as it turns out, something else happens. I head up the road, and if you look carefully, did you spot it? Did you spot it? There it is. I have no idea if this was a new spawn or anything, but I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to take it. It works perfectly. And now, oh, nice little wheelie. Now I can head up to the Northwest Airfield. Or whenever I'm on a vehicle and I'm in one of these two cities, I always go to Electro, and then I head up past the power station, and then I take the road to Novi, and then to Starry, and then to the Northwest Airfield. That's my best vehicle route, I find. It's just quick, easy. You can't really get lost on it. It's simple. Now, this server again didn't have many people on it, so I wasn't too worried about driving along the coast, and even if I was at that speed, I would be really impressed if someone could hit me. Unless they were standing in the middle of the road, lining up the shot, they probably wouldn't be able to hit me at that speed. So I head up towards Starry. I get all the way across the map without any issues. One of the annoying things with motorbikes is you can, if you drive near zombies, they will actually knock you off. You'll just get off the bike and you'll be like, what the fuck? But just don't drive near zombies on a motorbike. It's a bad idea. So I decided, right, before I go to the Northwest Airfield, I'll check the tents, just in case I can score myself a better gun, maybe something with a scope, so I can scout the area out before I go to it. So I head up to the tents, and to my very nice surprise, wait for it, wait for it a bit more, and looky, what is next to the tents? A heli. Now that is a beautiful sight. That is actually a spawn. I believe I've seen it in other servers, but obviously since it's in Starry it doesn't stay there for long. But now I have a heli. Now obviously I'm expecting it to be heavily damaged, but actually it's all green somehow. All it needs is fuel. Now obviously that isn't easy because, as you may know, helicopters take a lot of fuel to get them off the ground, and you only really need about 3 or 4 cans just to get it off the ground and get it maybe halfway across the map. That way you can take it to a secluded, sorry, I never can say that right, but a location that's quite quiet with a fuel tank and fill it up. Now, as I went to go and hunt for a J-can, I unfortunately was distracted and mauled by zombies, so I
got a electro spawn. I went up past electro and I found this really cool looking police car. So I took this, got all the way back up here so I could go and loot my body. And the irritating thing was, just before I died, I was right in front of a jerry can. So I just get my stuff back, my M16, food, all that. And obviously I had stopped in this barn just for a split second, and then when I turned around, the zombies had just overcome me and I was dead. And it was quite funny because I wasn't quite sure if it was zombies or a player, but no player responded when I asked. So there's the jerry can. Obviously you really want more than one jerry can, but I'm in Starry, so I have to do whatever I can. So I go and fill it up. Awesome thing about jerry cans is you can always count. If they're a fresh spawn in an industrial building, they will always go full. You'll never find an empty jerry can unless a player has used it. I hope that stays the same in the standalone. So fill that up, then I go down to the fuel tank for a couple more refills. I think I do a total of 4 or 5, and that gets the heli off the ground. So I run down here. Best option to do is always make sure you're not near zombies, because there's no way for you to do anything while you're in the animation. You're completely stuck, and they get me stuck in there, and then take some headshots on these fools. It's really strange how sometimes when you're moving, the gun sort of tilts to the right. But that's probably the thing. Now this guy, look at that. 2 shots. 3, okay. What, seriously? Just sit down, zombie. There we go. Now you can begin to start filling your jerry can. One little tip you can have is, if you have more than one jerry can, put all your jerry cans that you have that are empty in your inventory. Just clear it out, put it all in your backpack, and then you can fill them all up instantaneously. And here, little tip, if you go down and press refuel, and then while you're refueling press it again and again for however many jerry cans you have, then it will fill it up a lot faster and it won't do the animation several times over. So the heli is now in a working state. I'm going to get it off the ground and I'm going to take it to a nice little remote location outside of Zelina yards that I like to use, and I find quite effective for keeping helis there to refuel. And also I also find it good because whenever you've got a heli, it's best to hide it in the most ridiculous location as possible. So I'll take the heli to literally the outbounds of the map, right where the map would end, and then I'll keep it there. And where I'm going, if you happen to spawn back in and something's happened with the server, such as the heli's just despawned, then you can just run up to this little location I'm about to land at, and you won't be too far from the town. That's actually quite good. Xenos has a supermarket, etc., so you don't have to worry too much. So I'm going to set it down here, give it a nice load of refuel, and then I'm going to take it down to Cherno. A bit ballsy, I know, but got to do something. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm going to take it down there, see if I can find anything before I take off again. Hopefully find some more jerry cans, because I've still just got the one, and I don't find any here. But one will have to do for now. And then I will take it out of Chernus and fly it to another island, and then in the next episode you guys can see some new footage from an alternative island. It's always good to film on different islands, because sometimes they've got some really good concepts and ideas, such as I think it's Origins, you can build houses, which I thought was pretty slick. I ended up doing about 6, 7 or 8, maybe 9 jerry can fills, and that gave me enough to stop it from blinking, and that will get me across the map. You'll find it goes down quite slowly, so you don't have to worry about having something as small as that. It'll get you where you need to go, and that is actually enough fuel to get you across the entire map from A to B. So I set it down in this compound here. It's good to set it down in an area like this because there is literally only 1 or 2 entry points to this compound, and if someone tries to take off in your heli, you will know where it is, you'll know how to get the compound the fastest, and you can take them out, because whenever you hear your heli starting up, you can't just assume the worst, because it will take them a good, I'd say maybe 10-15 seconds before it's in the air, and then you can save it. So that is that. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave a comment and rating if you want to see more of this, or if you don't, or what you want to see. And I'm the Ep.2. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Looking